Fistbump University. We are pumped to be here. If you weren't with us the first time, I'm Crystal. This dude over here is Dan. Hopefully that looked right on your computer too.
Yo, yo,
Um,
yo.
okay, fist bumps all around. There we go. All right, so we are chatting tonight about email subscribers and how to plan a strategy to grow email subscriptions and how that impacts our blogs. And Dan is the expert on this, and so I am excited to hear what he has to say. One of the first things we wanted to tell you about, though, is something new that we have started since our last webinar. Um, there have been a ton of great questions coming in, and we really wanted to build a community where you guys could come and hang out and post your questions in between these sessions and between the live Q&As that Dan hosts. So I will be sharing with you a link over to the new Fistbump Media University Facebook page. So it's a closed group. You guys can go check out all these videos. These are recorded, so that'll be the best place for you to find them if you want to go back and rewatch one and see our awesomeness all over again on your computer screen. So these will be there. The live Q&As will be recorded, and they'll be there. And then, if you have questions in between, post them, ask each other, whatever's on your mind, whatever comes up. It'll help us actually plan future webinar events so we can make sure that we're addressing the needs that you guys have. So, Dan, did you want to toss out anything more about your awesome idea there for the Facebook group?
Yeah, no, just to add that it's kind of always been our heart to just be a resource and to be helpful to bloggers. Yeah, we have stuff we like to try to sell and services we can perform and everything, but at the same time, we just want to be helpful. So this is, I think, one of the places where we're hoping to really just try to be as helpful as we can and continue the conversation between these kinds of events. To even share and encourage with each other. I'd love to see before and after photos or screenshots of things that you've done. If you've done some work on your sidebar or something like that, share a before and after screenshot or something like that, so that we can see and we can talk about it and encourage and lift each other up and stuff. So really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a great resource for everyone and looking for some great engagement there with you guys. So awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. I love the idea of the before and afters. It's like you're never going to see me showing a before and after of any kind of like crazy exercise routine. So my blog, I can do that. We're good. All right. So we have a lot to talk about with emails. So let's just jump in, and we're going to start off with just the basics. I mean, what do you need? Dan, tell us, what do we need in a good email subscription tool? What are we looking for?
Yeah, and to really even, for me, before I even answer that, I think one of the most important things to put out there about email subscriber management is the fact that this is probably one of the most important factors of building a platform for a blogger, writer, small business, any of that stuff, but probably one of the most overlooked and neglected areas as well. So it's really important to make sure that we're doing this right. So to really then think about what does it take to have a good email subscriber management tool. There are 4 things in my mind that I think are really critical for a good tool. One is that you have customizable registration and control over design factors and stuff. We're going to take a look at some things tonight. And it's probably going to be no secret that I'm a huge fan of like MailChimp, and I know there's some other services like it stuff. I tend to lean more towards MailChimp than some of the others for a few reasons, but it's not that the others are any worse. Services like Aweber and stuff like that too are really fantastic and do a lot of the same stuff that MailChimp does. So a lot of it kind of get down to where does the cost point and stuff like that come in, but services like that will give you the opportunity to customize the design, the layout, look and feel, and especially the registration process. And that's going to be really critical when we talk about some things later on about really building your email list and stuff. So that's number one, customizable registration and branding and stuff. Number 2 is also the ability to segment within your registration process as well. I know a lot of bloggers, and even as I look over the registration, asked which service do you guys use right now? I know a lot of people watching right now too probably even use MailChimp, and I've used it for several years. One of the great things about it is so easy to get it set up and get people who give you their email address to just get that email back out. But one of the things that I do at BibleDude.net, for example, is I give people options because of the different types of content that we have. So I'm able to segment my list and say, hey, do you want to subscribe to this category and this category and this category, or all three, or just one, or two, or the three, or whatever. I'm able to do that kind of group segmentation and stuff. Another use for that, as I was even talking to somebody earlier today about having a blog RSS feed and a monthly newsletter. And you can, in your registration process with a good tool, allow people to choose and say, hey, I want the daily blog feed, I want the monthly newsletter, I want both. So you can do that kind of segmentation within your registration as well. This is the second thing I look for in a good email tool. Third is I talk about the customizable registration, but customizable templates. You want to make sure that the emails that you have go out are branded according to the way you brand your website. You know, we talk in our last event, we talked about blog redesign and having a strong brand and stuff like that on your blog. It's important to carry that over even into your email stuff, and you want to make sure you have good control over that. And the fourth thing is, and this is probably one of the most overlooked pieces as well within email subscriber management, is a good autoresponder tool. A tool like a FeedBurner doesn't even have at all. And what I mean by autoresponder is the kind of thing where I can say, okay, when Crystal, you sign up for my blog feed, 1 week after that day, from the day you sign up, I'm going to automatically send you this one special email. And it's not part of my blog feed, it's not a newsletter or anything, but it's just this one email that you'll get a week after, and maybe it's a thank you or whatever it is. And I'll talk a little bit more detail about how to use autoresponders and stuff like that later on. But that's another really, really critical part of the tool, because it's something that can be used quite a bit to leverage and grow your platform in some really pretty interesting ways. So those are 4 things that I look for in a good email tool.
Very cool. Yeah, the autoresponder thing, I'm glad that you explained what that was. That's definitely something that is important, because I think it's easy to set this up and kind of forget about it in a way, and so it makes it a no-brainer that you can set it up and have that great connection and build that community with your blog readers, and you don't even have to think about it. That is fantastic. All right, so I know that you talked about MailChimp, and I love MailChimp. I've used MailChimp. I prefer MailChimp because they are kind of hilarious in just their marketing, and every time I log on, that little monkey does something different. I'm easily amused, so it doesn't take a whole lot. But I have to admit, I am on FeedBurner because it was easy, and when my blog got set up, it was just a simple thing to install, and I didn't plan to do a newsletter, so I didn't think I needed anything more than that. You know, and I didn't even until probably last year go in and customize it with anything that had to do with my blog, which is sad. I apologize in advance for anybody who has read my blog through an RSS reader. I'm sorry. Okay, so tell me, Dan, how do you even convert MailChimp from something like FeedBurner? Am I going to lose everything, and why should I bother to do it?
Yeah, and I'll start with the why you should bother thing first. And with that, you know, I mentioned earlier that I used FeedBurner myself for several years, and it's one of those things that as a blogger, you know, you think it's just like, okay, well, I need to have a way to get my blog post to people via email. And so what's going to be the easiest way for me to set that up? It's just a very cool, quick, automated tool that makes setup very easy. Registration, you plug in your blog address, and it manages all of your RSS, you know, not only for email subscriptions, but for other RSS feed readers and things like that as well too. But it's very simple and basic, and it's also become very clear and evident over the last, I don't know, probably year or so, especially that Google is not really investing a lot of effort into really keeping it up. They're already kind of starting to discontinue certain, not to get too technical, certain APIs and things like that too on the back end and support for stuff. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're shutting it down. just means that it looks like it's pretty apparent that they're not investing a lot into developing it as a stronger blog feed kind of RSS tool. So what you're going to get there is in FeedBurner is a very simple, easy to use tool where people can plug in their email address, and then voila, they'll start getting your blog post in their email inbox. But I think as a blogger, we want more if we're going to grow our platform. Delivering the email to somebody's inbox is one thing, but really nurturing a list and growing an email subscriber list has a lot of benefit and payoff, and other things that you can do to really help develop that community. One of the things I'll even kind of dig in with autoresponders and kind of building on that concept a little bit too as well is that one of the things you can do with an autoresponder is set it up so that, let's say, Crystal, you just subscribed to BibleDude.net today, but I've got 7 years worth of great content that you may have never seen before. So I might want to try to introduce you to some of that content. So I might set up an autoresponder and say, hey, here's some of our best posts of the past in certain categories and stuff to kind of help catch you up to speed with the people who have been reading all along. So you want to make sure that you're leveraging and using some of those tools, some of those things we talked about that are needed in a good email tool. Now, how to do it? I've got 7 simple steps. Okay.
Just 7.
Just seven, and they're all very, very simple. But yeah, and this is something too that obviously we do as a service and stuff as well. So I do several of these, so it is very easy for somebody like me. But really, as far as an overall process, the first thing you want to do if you want to try to take this on yourself is set up your account in like a MailChimp service, and the first thing is to set up your registration form. So you're going to create a list, and even if you're add yourself as the only person on that list to start working with it right away. You want to create your registration forms and play with the branding and stuff. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to take a look at them here, some of them here in a couple minutes. So I'm going to talk through those a little bit faster stuff right now. But we'll look at some screens and stuff in a few minutes about what some of these can look like. But you'll create your registration form, and yeah, so that's the first step. Second step is to design your RSS-driven campaign. So that's basically the email then that people are going to have going out to as well. And I'm going to talk about designing the campaign as well too. So we'll look at some screenshots for that in a couple minutes. But the second step is after you create your list, create your campaign that's going to send that blog post when you write a new blog post out to your readers. The third step is going to be to swap the registration forms on your blog. So you've probably got a sidebar widget saying, hey, sign up and get this in your email inbox now. You'll want to swap those out so that at some point in this process, people start signing up for the new list and not the old list. And you want to do this. This is an important part at this point in the game early on before we even talk about the next step of exporting your subscribers from a FeedBurner service, because you want to make sure you do that before you start exporting any subscribers, so nobody new signs up in the middle and gets lost there. So you'll so you swap the registration forms on your site. The fourth step then is export those FeedBurner subscribers. And actually, I think for this, I will actually screen share real quick and show you a little bit of what this looks like. So give me a second, open up the screen. And for anybody who uses FeedBurner, you may be familiar with these. You may not play around in there a whole lot, but this is somebody I've done a migration for at one point as well too. But in FeedBurner, there's a publicize tab with your email subscription content. And then if you scroll down that page, you're going to have a list of email subscribers, and what you're looking for is the export CSV, and basically it's going to be commerce separated values. It's like an Excel spreadsheet with the different fields for the email addresses and when they started and all that stuff. But you're going to download basically that file to your desktop. Once you've done that, then you can come over to MailChimp, and then they've just changed what they look like a little bit as well too, since I've captured this screenshot. But when you're looking at your list, you're going to import that spreadsheet basically into MailChimp, which is then the next step. Step number 5 is to import your subscribers into MailChimp. So once you've downloaded that Excel file, basically, you'll want to import them there into MailChimp. And what you'll see is basically just to upload a file from your computer. So you'll look for and grab that spreadsheet file. It'll give you an opportunity to say, okay, yep, upload this file, import the list, auto-update my existing list. And essentially what that means is if you already have people in there, it'll kind of check to make sure that there's no extra matches or anything like that. But once you import your list, then it allows you to kind of work through the columns and say, hey, this column, yep, that's email addresses. The next column is, in the time they opted into my list, or it's their first name, or whatever it is. We'll try to match them up as best they can, but it gives you an opportunity just to make sure that the right fields are going to the right places from your spreadsheet into your new piece. And that's essentially done. It'll load up those subscribers for you right into MailChimp. So pretty simple. Download a file from one place, upload that file to the next place. So then, once you've imported those subscribers into MailChimp, step number 6 is going to be to turn on that new campaign. So you designed what your email looks like, and you'll want to turn that on now and say, okay, go ahead and start sending this when I write my next blog post. Go ahead and start sending this to this list now that I've just imported to all my email subscribers. And then the last step is, as soon as you turn that on, you want to make sure you're back over in FeedBurner and disable that email subscriber option over in FeedBurner, so that those people aren't then getting both emails, the old one from FeedBurner and the new one from MailChimp. You follow those 7 simple steps, and essentially it's going to be a very practically invisible process to your email subscribers. Just one day they're going to be getting the old FeedBurner email, and the next day they're going to be getting the nice new awesome MailChimp email from you.
Very cool. 7 very simple for Dan steps. But those are great. It definitely makes it seem a lot easier than what I think I thought it would be. So it might be something worth attempting. But here's my question. So I have, tens of email subscribers. What do I need to do to set up a successful registration page or an offer page to grow that list so that I'm actually looking at more people when I'm putting this campaign together?
Yeah, and that's great. And like I said, when I was talking about setting up a registration page, this is the part where I'm going to start digging into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think there are two types of pages, and I think even a third type, if you combine the two, that's probably a best case scenario. And I'm going to do some screen sharing again because I have a couple of examples that we can look at. So let me go back to screen sharing. And I helped Sarah Bessie do her similar migration like this from FeedBurner into MailChimp, and she really loved what we did with it and stuff. Because she really felt like it helped a lot of her image and branding and stuff like that too as well. But one of the things you'll see is you've got the box on the side as well too. We've got this button here, and I'll click on that button because it'll show you the form and what it looks like. But this is the registration form basically that I'm talking about that we set up. And this is a good example, I think, of the first type of successful registration page. And I think that's a personal kind. She starts off with the comment, "Hey there, love. Thanks for your interest in subscribing." So essentially, her subscriber form is a note from her, and it just really opens her up. I mean, you're looking at an image with her face on it. It's got the same branding that was on her site. She's updated because I think she changed the header on her blog. But But it's that very personal kind of look and feel and flavor to what you're about to get into. So you feel like you're giving your email address to a friend, your friend Sarah, who just called you love, spelled L-U-V, Um, so that's one type right there. But you can kind of see what they did. Just a brief introduction, sharing a little bit about what people can expect when they subscribe to your email list. This is who I am. This is the kind of stuff I talk about. If you give me your email address, then you're going to get these conversations right in your inbox. And by the way, talk smooth. So again, it's a very conversational, personal feel. And that's a really important strategy, I think, across working with email subscribers and stuff too, is not to forget that it's a personal connection with these people. It's probably the most personal connection with any of your readers that you'll actually ever have. When you put something out on Twitter, a lot of times it's broadcast to the masses, right? But sending somebody an email is going directly to their inbox, so it's a one-on-one communication between you and them. So anytime you can bring in that personal feel, it's a great win, a good opportunity to do that very thing. The other type of registration page that I like to see that I think is very successful is the resource page. And that's where, with BibleDude.net, my site, you see we're actually offering like a free download of an ebook, my Unlikely Missionary ebook here. So it's essentially, this one's just, it's a pretty simple page. It says, hey, sign up to get email updates and we'll give you this. So there's that kind of reward system built in there for subscribers. Excuse me, for subscribers as well. And that's one of the other questions I asked too when people were registering for this event. How many of you have some kind of downloadable resource, an ebook or something like that that you can offer to people for registering? It's because this is a very, very successful tactic in helping to grow and build an email subscriber list. Now I'll talk about other ways to leverage that a little bit too, a little bit closer to the end, specifically around offers and stuff for on other sites and everything. But yeah, this is the other way. Like I said, if you can combine the hey, let me give you a free resource with a very personal feel, that's probably hitting it out of the ballpark right there. So
That's awesome. I don't even think that I realized probably that because sites seem so seamless whenever they use something like MailChimp, where it just click and you enter your email address and you get a nice little form. I don't think that I even realized that that was something that you could customize or put a lot of thought into. I love the personal aspect because you put your email address into so many things, and it's nice to really feel like, you obviously already have a connection with Blogger when you're signing up to get their blog in your email box, and so to have that extra special little, more personal communication before you jump in, I think is awesome. And I definitely know that there were some questions in the chat about the offers and how to give something away and how to bribe people to subscribe and things like that. So that will definitely be something that we'll want to chat about at the end. I have some really good questions that we're getting here for you, Dan. So
yeah, and actually, let me deal with that for a second as well too,
yeah.
and I'll jump in and even show in MailChimp a little bit what that looks like. And so let me jump back to my screen sharing here as well too, so I don't keep talking and not sharing my screen. This is one of the lists that I manage with BibleDude, where we're giving away that free ebook. And essentially, what I'm doing is I'm managing the sign-up form. So if you use MailChimp already, and you're familiar with when you're looking at your list, there's the sign-up forms tab there. And this is where I can drop in and add my header up there. I can create this page, and it's essentially just like a blog page. So if I click on edit, I'm adding an image and my text and everything else, just like I do to a blog post. So don't feel like it's too complicated. There's basically a field there where you're going to drop in your text and your images, whatever it is. But when you're creating the forms, there's really this whole process that a subscriber may go through when they're working on their forms. And one is that first sign-up form that they see. But then there's some of the follow-up pieces as well. So sign-up form with alerts essentially is going to be, hey, you forgot a required field or something like that too. So it's going to look the same as the sign-up form. Then you have a sign-up thank you page. and essentially says, hey, it's almost finished. We need to confirm your email address. You can drop in a little note too and say, hey, just make sure you check your email, check your spam folder and stuff too, whatever it is you want to say. And once you confirm that email address, you'll be able to download your free copy. And then you see the next item in the forms list is an opt-in confirmation email. So that's the one they click on. It says, yep, subscribe me to this list. And if you subscribe to blogs and stuff like that, you're probably familiar with seeing these, kind of understand the process. But then once they click on that, yes, to confirm, there's a point in here where essentially we say, all right, your subscription's confirmed. And it customizes that too as well to say, all right, so here's your download link. Download this now. And what you can do is you can place the file somewhere like on a Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that, somewhere where other people will be able to access it if they have the link to it to download that file. I personally use like a Google Drive and open up access, so it's like invisible to search engines and all that stuff, but accessible to anybody who has this link. And really the only place I use that link is a place like this. And even from a strategy perspective too, this is one thing that's really interesting is the book, The Unlikely Missionary, that I have. They're downloading a free PDF copy of the book here. But you also notice too on the email I say, hey, by the way, this is also available on Kindle and Nook with links back to where they can actually purchase it. And I've seen some of those because I've got certain tracking stuff I got set up as well too. I've seen some of those convert to they're subscribing to the list, get a free PDF download, but they end up going over to Amazon to buy the Kindle version because they like that better. So that's kind of how you set that up. The final welcome email, same kind of thing too. Is hey, thanks for so they get the email that says thanks for subscribing. Here's your download link. Again, also available in these formats, so you can go buy it if you want. So that's kind of pretty quick what that looks like in setting that up within the registration process.
That seems really very easy.
Was that screen shared or not?
Yes, you were.
Okay. Whew.
It was good. Yeah, perfect. No, that's very cool. So once you get that set up and you got everything ready to go in the MailChimp side, then how exactly do you get that to show up on your blog and not break everything? Because that has been known to happen when you have to embed things on blogs.
Yep. So yeah, let me go back to screen sharing again. All right, so cool. So yeah, so when we're working with those lists as well, and you've got the sign-up forms. Specifically, when I'm playing with those forms, I'm looking at the general forms section here, but there's embedded forms as well. There's really a couple of ways to do this, depending on the platform that you're using. I know WordPress has some pretty good plugins that even I think simplify this process even a little bit more. But whether you're using Blogger, even WordPress or any of the other platform, basically what you can do is you can come in here on the sign-up forms and get some embed code for it. So you can kind of customize your form and say, hey, this is what I want on the form. Make it very slim. Give me just required fields. Subscribe to our mailing list, or something awesome like getting my emails, like getting a Fistbump or something like that. Whatever. However you want to do that. But basically you customize your form, and it gives you, as you change those settings, it gives you the code to just kind of copy and paste into a sidebar widget on your blog. Now there's some trickier things you can do with it as well too. Some of it gets quite a bit more technical. At minimum, you want to make sure that you have this in your sidebar and probably near the top of the page somewhere. So you want to make it very easy and visible for people to see. See a lot of people, and I think in the last session too, we talked about Emily Waringa's site where she's got it at the bottom of every blog post. There's also to get posts like this in your email inbox directly, just enter your email address here. And you can do that kind of stuff too. It gets a little bit more technical with getting the code in the right places within the the templates and the themes and stuff like that too as well. But really, that's what you're looking for in MailChimp is just that, in the sign-up forms, get your embed code, tweak it out, customize it however you want, and copy and paste that code into the widget.
Seems easy enough. You make everything look so easy, Dan. You really do. Okay, so far, okay, so we've talked about why we need a good email subscription tool. You've told us why we should migrate over to MailChimp. You told us our 7 easy steps on how to do it. We talked about setting up the registration page and how to embed all of this awesomeness on our blog. So once we get all of that figured out, what do we do next? I mean, is there a campaign? What happens to actually make people sign up for this?
Yeah, and this gets to be, and this is that back into that migrate process. I believe is step number 2 after setting up that registration, designing your RSS campaign. So this is one of the most crucial parts for bloggers is to make sure that you've got that email that's going out on a regular basis. So again, I want to jump back over to screen share and we'll take a look at MailChimp again. And we're going to talk about campaigns. So that's one of the big things. You've got your list and you've got your campaigns, the 2 biggest areas that you'll probably be doing most of your work. So with campaigns, essentially you drop down the option here under create a campaign. You have a few different options. Regular old campaign, plain text, whatever it is. Regular old campaign is going to be like if you want to create a newsletter that you're manually putting together and then writing special content for or adding specific links to it or whatever. That's what you'll do as a regular old campaign. One of the other cool things here as well too, and this gets a little bit deeper into some pretty cool strategic stuff, is you can even do A/B split campaigns, and what that means is you have the option to say, you know what, I'm going to send emails. I have a group of 100 people that are going to get this. I want half of them to get one email saying a certain thing. I want the other half to get an email that's targeted at the same thing but says it in a different way. So you can even kind of test and see which method is going to work better for you and stuff. So that gets pretty deep into some email marketing type stuff, which is great, especially if you have some new products, especially for writer bloggers and stuff where you have maybe a new book or ebook coming out eventually. And let's see. Yeah, especially where you have a new book or ebook or something coming out eventually. You can run those kinds of tests. But the big one that we're looking at is an RSS-driven campaign. And I'm not going to walk through every piece of this right now, but I want to kind of give you a little bit of a highlight of really how easy this is to manage. You plug in your URL, and it says plug in your RSS feed URL, but if you don't know that, just drop in the regular website address, and we'll try to find the RSS feed for you. Pretty simple. Set the time that you wanted to go out, maybe days of the week. Maybe you only wanted to go out Monday through Friday, not on weekends, or whatever it is. You can select those options. As you work through next, you get the option to choose the list that you want to send it to. And you can even, this is where I talk about some of the segments as well. You can even choose a segment, say, hey, these are the people that I want to get it to who selected category A, B, or C, or this is the group that gets the daily blog feed, but this is the group that gets the monthly newsletter, or whatever. So you can even choose those segments. Give it a name, title. I'm just going to call this test. It's going to walk through it. You can do different things with tracking and posting to social media and whatnot. And then the big thing here is going to be, this is where you start to do the design work. And there are a lot of templates and pre-designed themes and stuff out there. The one I really like the best, and is probably the easiest to use, is going to be this drag and drop editor. It's going to give you a lot more control and simplicity as well. So pull in drag and drop editor. Then the first thing you choose a basic template. So as you see, as I look at the basic templates, I have some options for 1 column, 2 column, where it's split one column for the top half of the post, two columns for the bottom half, so on. It's a few different options for what it looks like. Two columns all the way down, two columns on the top, one on the bottom. Whatever. You kind of get the idea for some of the different options there as well too. There's even a basic RSS one. One with like a right sidebar RSS, so you can create it to look kind of like your blog if you have a sidebar on the right-hand side, whatever it is. I'm just going to choose a basic one-column format here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about and playing with. Now, once you get into this, everything else is really just completely drag and drop. Add your header image. You have options even to choose RSS items that you can drop on there, and it'll let you choose. I want excerpts or full content or whatever it is. I give you some different options for what kind of RSS display you want. I'm going to delete that plain text box that's on there, and as you kind of test out, it'll even show you when you enter the test mode what it's going to look like when it's in their email, but also if they're viewing from a desktop, but also what it looks like on a mobile phone. And this is another really, really important factor, and this is why I wanted to make sure I showed this, is because we can't forget the power of the mobile device. I know we talked about like responsive themes last time, the blog design one. That same kind of concept here, making sure that your emails are also very mobile friendly, is really just as important as well. So a lot of times you'll see me, I'll lean towards more a one column thing, because you start putting side by side columns. A lot of times that's going to be more stuff that gets kind of cluttered in a mobile device. The one column is going to be a little bit more tighter and cleaner and kind of fit the screen better, a little bit more responsive in that way. So a very, very important factor for how you do that. One of the other really cool things too I'll point out about this as well too is I drop on a RSS item here. I can drop on all other kinds of things. Let me drop in some social follow links, and you can change the style and customize those if you want. Let me drop in a big button somewhere that says, hey, click here for this, whatever it is. You could design your RSS campaign to have some of these different kinds of elements, and maybe it's even another photo thing or something like that that's on the bottom of the post. I do this quite a bit too if I have big special projects coming up that I want to make sure people are aware of. This more than just hey, I wrote a blog post about this once. I want to make sure that they're seeing maybe some information. So it's like maybe dropping a little bit of an advertisement for a special project or something you have going on. If you have a new ebook coming out, drop something at the bottom of your RSS post about that ebook, so subscribers are aware of it with every email that they get. So you can use that email to help promote other elements and things that you're working on too. Cool.
Very cool. Now there has been a couple questions about whether or not you are showing us the free or paid version of MailChimp. So are those features that you're showing us in a free version?
Yes, that is in a free version. That's one of the reasons I like MailChimp, is because they have a forever free level that allows you up to, I think it's something like 2,500 subscribers and 12,000 emails total sends per month or something like that. And as long as we stay within those limits, it'll be always free. So it actually takes quite a bit to really hit those limits. So yeah, this is all free functionality in MailChimp.
Very cool. That's going to make a lot of people in the chat really happy to hear that. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking a little bit earlier about autoresponders, and so do you want to tell us anything more about those, how to use those to increase engagement, and how exactly that works for growing an email subscriber list?
Yes, I do. Yeah, so autoresponders, and kind of hit on the concept again really quick, just to make sure people are really clear on what it means to use an autoresponder. An autoresponder is going to be something that's not your normal content, but is going to be something that helps develop the experience with your normal content for readers and people who subscribe to your blog or website or whatever. So, a couple of reasons. I think it's probably great to use autoresponders, things that you can use them for. One is, and I mentioned this earlier, to kind of catch people up on content within your blog. So Crystal has subscribed to BibleDude.net today, missed 7 years of great content. I want to try to introduce her to some of the best content that we've had over the years. So I'll send her an autoresponder and say, hey, here's the top 5 posts that we wrote about so-and-so. Here's the top 5 book reviews that we've written, most popular book reviews that we've written over the years. Whatever it is, you can use autoresponders to introduce people to new content like that. You can also use them to reward people for their loyalty. Again, really kind of depending on what it is and what you have to offer. Using my example again as well too for the Unlikely Missionary, one of the things I try to send out after you've subscribed for a while is, hey, here's a discount code for 25% off on the print version of the book. So if you have something like that that you have available that you can give away, you can do that. Maybe it's an additional ebook or some other resource that you want to just give away for free or something like that. You can do those kinds of things as well too to reward their loyalty. Again, remember, it's a very personal, kind of intimate connection with your reader. So you can do that stuff and say, hey, I just want to say thank you, and go say your best, like, thank you, love, and you can do those kinds of things. So let me show you an example of autoresponders, some that I have set up, and these in particular have actually worked pretty well for me in driving some decent content and readership and getting familiar with people and stuff. So, so one of them is, not sure. Let's see, did that pop? It didn't pop right. Hold on a second. Like me. All right. Cool. So this is one of those examples that I've got set up that I was just talking about. This is a particular list that I have where people were subscribing based on a link actually that I have, and I'll talk about this more in a second. A link that I have actually off of my site somewhere where people can subscribe to my content. But when they do, I know that because they're subscribing off of my site, they're not necessarily readers of my site already. So I've got a lot of catching up to do with them. I know they're very brand new to the site. So I set out an autoresponder to say, okay, well, here is, show the header stuff, the subject line, 5 thought-provoking online group study discussions from BibleDude.net. And the email is basically, these are discussions about books that we've had on the website. So kind of photo of image of the cover of the book with links and quick description and buttons says, hey, go to read more for a few different books there. So there's just 5 that we highlight. Yeah, simple as that. Just links basically back to the website highlighting that specific content. Same kind of thing with this one. 5 awesome theology conversations that we have. And these are set to go out over different times. We've got a conversation about hell, understanding millennialism, some kind of Greek word studies, worship-based theology, stuff like that too. So some really interesting theological conversations that we've had, and really also to drive that. One of the things that I really look at to help me determine which ones I think are probably going to be most popular is is I look back over my analytics and stuff over time, especially if you have a tool like a Google Analytics installed. Google Analytics is going to be great for helping you to say track back over how many years you've been running. What are some of the most popular posts that you've ever done on your blog? So I really try to kind of grab those categories and themes and focus in just on those. And that's the most popular content. So that's the stuff I believe people are most likely to click on when they get one of those autoresponders from me later on.
That's awesome. And I think we could probably do a whole webinar on Google Analytics just by itself, so that we might have to add to the list for later.
Add to the list, yes.
Definitely. And I love the idea of autoresponders. I think that that's brilliant. You're using content that's already popular and already represents you and your brand really well, so why not get it out there? And I love that in the screenshot that you showed, you could actually see how often you have it set. So to go out 2 weeks after somebody signs up. So you don't have to worry about, it doesn't go out to your whole email list every 2 weeks or something like that. It's just very specific to those subscribers.
Exactly. And you can even kind of dig into strategy too, as far as like when people are going to engage most with a certain kind of content and stuff. Something like a list where I'm asking them to read a bunch of stuff. I can even get as specific to say, all right, once they've subscribed to the list for 30 days, send them this email, but we're gonna wait till Saturday to send it. So because that's probably when they have more time to sit down and read the content, kind of thing. So you can even play strategically with timing and stuff to kind of really play off of how you expect them to engage with the content stuff too as well. But yeah, you have total control over setting that, and creating it is very much like creating a regular campaign where you're just kind of creating the email, the layout, design, kind of like I was just showing you for that RSS kind of campaign, and then just setting that timing and telling it to go when it's go.
That's awesome. And I know that we haven't even really touched on strategy, which I think that maybe you're going to have a little announcement at the end about how maybe some strategy conversations with you can happen. So definitely don't check out before the end of this. You guys are going to want to hear about this. So we have one last little bit to talk about. So if you have only about 10 minutes left. So we're going to start to get this wrapped up so we can answer some of your questions. So if you have questions that you want to pop over into the chat window, be sure to toss those there, and we will see how many of them we can answer. And Dan, I'm guessing maybe you'll answer a couple more over on the Facebook page in the Facebook university group that we have now. So if your question doesn't get answered, check back over there in the next several days, and hopefully Dan will be able to hop in there and give you your answer. So we had talked just a little bit briefly about using offers, and you have mentioned free ebooks and giveaways and discounts and all that kind of stuff. Was there anything else that you wanted to toss out there about using offers to grow your subscriber list?
Yeah, and this is really probably just a really quick one, and probably a more strategic thing than anything else. I talked about with autoresponders and the ones we were looking at, using that off the site. Essentially, when you create your list and you're managing your list and looking at the sign-up forms and stuff that we were looking at earlier, there's a tab in there somewhere for share it, where you can grab a link, just a direct link. It's not the embed code or anything like that, but grab a direct link to your registration form. And as you're doing this kind of stuff too, you can even maintain separate lists. Maybe that all of them get your blog or RSS feed or something like that too as well, but they could be very separate lists. So when we think blogging strategy and getting yourself out there, one of the things a lot of people talk about is doing guest blogging on other sites. So one idea is that as you go to other sites and guest blog, make it part of your bio that you put in there. Hey, if you would like to hear more from Dan King, who's guest blogging on so and so site, click here to subscribe to his blog. Rather than just sending them back to my blog, click here to subscribe to it. There are other sites. I've had some great success working with some sites that like to offer free download resources. ebooks and that kind of thing. So I've built some pretty nice lists by saying, hey, I've got a free ebook that I'm happy to offer your readers. But the way it's set up too is they're subscribing to my mailing list to get the free download. They're happy to work that way. And there's a few sites that can kind of work that way and stuff too. But yeah, especially if you got some kind of offer stuff like that in there too, is very easy as you're branching out, maybe expanding your presence on other sites, to put that direct contact link in, to subscribe. Get his free ebook or whatever now. Subscribe to his site as part of your bio. So a great thing strategically to help leverage other websites to get people subscribing into your own content.
I love that idea of including the direct link in your bio when you guest post, because I don't have an ebook or a huge thing that I can offer. So being able to sneak that in there, I think, is huge, because people are going to click, either your link to your Twitter or your link to your blog to go check out more. And so why not have it in there? And then, as you get an ebook, you can swap it out and get that info in there, and you don't have to wait till you have a book to offer to really start utilizing the sort of offer campaign to get people to sign up. So I love that idea. It's a little bit outside the box, but I think it's very cool.
And it's outside the box that works the most sometimes too,
It's my favorite place to be, Dan. I like to be outside the box. All right. So we have a bunch of awesome questions. So I am going to go through a couple of these, if you don't mind, Dan. And somebody's asking Dan if you're wearing a MailChimp shirt.
Yeah, I just saw that. No, I'm not. It's just a regular T-shirt. Yeah, but I do like the idea of a Fistbump Media T-shirt. I will have to get some of those and offer them on the site somewhere so people can get that.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. Okay, one that a couple people were asking about with MailChimp, does it allow you to personalize the form so when people sign up they can choose how often they receive the email, like if they just want to get it weekly or if they want it every day? Is that option in MailChimp?
That's a great question, and it's kind of a yes/no question. It's a yes/no question because it's there if you build your list to work that way. Which means that gets into as you create your list, you can create groups, just like I do for categories, or just like the example we talked about, get the daily blog feed or get a monthly newsletter. So you can actually set up then different types of campaigns. So maybe there's a weekly one that only goes out on Saturday morning or stuff like that too as well. So you can give some of those options, but that's stuff that you would really have to kind of build in. For how you segment groups within your list, and then how you manage that content by sending that out to them. Good question, though. Really good.
Sorry, I was muted, so I wasn't clicking around too loudly there. That was an awesome question. I was really glad that one was asked. There was another question here about, where was it? Okay, what is the best scheduling for newsletters? And I think somebody else asked a very similar question. Is there a better scheduling for a blog post versus a newsletter? Should you do them separately? Should your newsletter just go out once a month? Should it go out every month? Should your blog posts go out all in one chunk at the end of the week? Is there a best practice for all of this?
Yeah, and that's a tricky question because I think as I study and understand analytics for really everything, not just when's the best time to tweet and stuff like that. It gets kind of messy, and really the best advice that I've ever seen for that kind of stuff is just try something, test it, try something else a little bit later, see what works better. And it seems like it may be kind of a cop-out answer, but really every one of our readerships is going to be a little bit different. And have different kinds of practices and stuff. I know over the years at BibleDo.net, I would covet how many comments some bloggers would get on their blog compared to how many comments I would get on some of my blog posts, and go, but my readership and stuff was high. I had a lot of reason to think that people were there. But it wasn't maybe just necessarily the kind of content that, I'm not as likely to comment on a blog post on CNN's blog or Fox News blog or something like that, as I am another place. So there are differences, in really a lot of our audiences and stuff like that as well too. I think a good place to start is start in the morning. As far as a time of day kind of thing, schedule your stuff for in the morning. I also know on the weekends, maybe even a little bit later in the morning, like a schedule for closer even around 10 o'clock or so in the morning for people to get. It might be a good option as well too. But if you try a morning thing for a little while, and this is one of the other things I really love about MailChimp is the analytics that are built into it and help me understand, when I send something out, what's that first 24 hours look like that I can see, oh, look at the click-through rate. I sent it out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and click-throughs were great for the first couple of hours and stuff, opens and stuff like that too. Then I tried the same thing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and people wait until the morning to open it and stuff. It kind of tells you a lot about when the best time is. So the really biggest advice is try a few different things as far as schedules and stuff like that, and watch the metrics. There's some really great reporting tools within a tool like MailChimp to help you kind of understand your readers' behavior and then follow that and leverage the heck out of that. If you see people are open stuff at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, send out an email at 2 o'clock in the afternoon every day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there was sort of a follow-up question with that, because that was sort of more about timing. And so this one's about content. Is there any specific monthly content you should keep just for subscribers? Is there anything special you should do just for your newsletter subscribers as opposed to your blog readers?
Yeah, and that's a good question too, and that really depends on readership a lot. I can tell you that I believe in doing newsletters, but I haven't done it at all myself because we have really enough regular content going out to our readers all the time from a variety of different writers and stuff that a newsletter might seem overkill then at that point. If the same people are getting it, I may consider going to an option where they have the option to choose between regular daily blog feed and a newsletter or something like that. And one of the other things is too, when you're managing stuff in MailChimp, you can do a newsletter if you have a special project that's really relevant to your audience coming up. I just had a book launch, right? So I get the chance to kind of photobomb my book here. I just had a book launch not too long ago, and I sent out non-blog posts, special posts about the book, to all of the readers and stuff, to the subscribers. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like I might be having kind of a cop-out answer as well too, but it really depends on your audience and what they expect from you, what you want to offer. But I think again, it's kind of a try it thing. The one thing I would really look for is if you do a regular blog and a monthly newsletter, watch the metrics because if you see really low open rates and click-throughs and stuff like that too on a newsletter, that might tell you that the newsletter might not be worth it. If you get really good rates on it, it might tell you keep it up. Maybe focus more effort on that. But a lot of that stuff is really, it's kind of trial and error, and watch the metrics and see how it performs.
Awesome. Well, we are just about out of time. We have about a minute left. So I know we have a giveaway winner that we need to announce for sharing about the course tonight on social media. So, Dan, if you want to go ahead and do the honors on that one.
Oh, I have to go look up the name.
I totally sent it to you. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Somebody start humming the Jeopardy theme real quick. Not me. You don't want me to do that. Okay, let's see. It is, give us, we're curiously, in case you want to know behind the scenes, go into Facebook. Okay, Andy Gould, you are our randomly chosen winner. And that means you won an autoresponder package. So, in case you guys are wondering, I will share, forgive the clicking, the link over to the packages that Dan is offering at Fistbump Media for you guys to check out, so you can see the different pieces of that puzzle. Dan, I don't know if you want to talk quickly more about any of that. Yeah,
and actually, and that's also the big red button just below the chat pod says check out our email subscriber management packages, opens in a new window. Now, actually, I'm gonna screen share just for a second over to that page because I do want to talk about something there as well. Screen share. Yeah, and on this page, obviously you see some of the services and stuff that we offer as well. None of this is required as part of this thing. If if you feel great walking away from this and doing some of this yourself, hey, rock and roll. That's I'm really happy and excited to hear that. If you do need some help and you want to do some of this stuff, we do offer packages to do this kind of stuff for you. If you even on the website looking over at the portfolio tab, I have a section there too of some email subscriber management, so you can even see what I've done for a few others in the same area. But one other thing I want to kind of draw your attention to is that towards the bottom of that page, underneath those basic packages, this is something that I want to try out for a little bit, and really only going to do this for a limited time. I'm going to start this probably next week with anybody who's interested. But we'll have an email subscriber boot camp, and what that's going to be is going to be a 4-week program where I will work with you guys, a group of you, whoever wants to sign up and be a part of this. We'll have weekly meetings. I'll make sure to record them too if you have schedule conflicts and can't make them, to really kind of talk through some of these key strategies and work through your email stuff. So it's not just saying, hey, this is how you do stuff. We're actually going to work through your pieces. But this is really designed to help you learn how to do this. And I think this is really important as well too, because yes, I can do this stuff for you and set these pieces up, but this is such an important piece of, I think, a blogger's strategy that's really important for you to really kind of dig in and understand how these pieces work and really kind of own this stuff a little bit more yourself. So this is an opportunity to really kind of dig in with me and with some others. You have direct access to me for answers to questions. Share what you're doing with others in the group and get feedback from other people who are going through the same thing as well too. But 4 weeks, only $79 a week, so that's what, about $20 a week for all the access to me and educational webinars, tutorials, things like that stuff too that will help put together. By the end of this 4 weeks, the idea is that you're going to have a completely macked out, rockin' email subscriber set up, probably within using MailChimp, complete with autoresponders and stuff like that. One other thing I'm going to throw on there as well too is that autoresponder package, the same thing that Andy just went to. No matter what it is, if you purchase any of these plans tonight, whether you're hiring me to help out to do something or registering for this boot camp, I will do 3 autoresponder emails for you within MailChimp for free. So that's a $99 value, $100 value right there that I'll mix in. So feel free, jump in. If you have questions before you want to buy, feel free. You can shoot me an email at dan@fistbumpmedia.com. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, wherever. Some of you guys know where I'm at, how to reach me. But yeah, I'll give out 3 more of those autoresponder packages to anybody who purchases anything, whether the boot camp or one of the other packages tonight. So.
Awesome. That boot camp is going to be really exciting. I think that's going to definitely be well worth the money, and I have signed up for online like email marketing, social media marketing training courses before, and you are getting a huge value with this. Let me just say that. So, Dan, we are out of time. Dude, this hour flies by when we're having so much fun. So I will kick it back to you if you want to wrap us up, and we can say good night to everybody.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, and just thanks everybody for jumping in. I know I haven't been kind of digging in the comments and stuff, but too, I love to see the activity. You guys are chatting out there and stuff. So yeah, thanks for popping by, checking us out. Yeah, and stay tuned. We'll definitely have more of these. We're going to be talking some other blogging strategy stuff, even publishing strategy, because I know a lot of you guys definitely want to get something published and everything as well too. So watch for more of those coming up, and we'll probably do another, I think, another live Q&A one probably sometime next week. Just like we did about a week and a half or so ago, just to open up and just come in and ask questions. And it was a good time. So yeah, so you guys rock. Appreciate you. Give us a shout if there's anything we can do for you if you have any questions.
Night, everybody.
Fistbump.